On the program today, we look at how gassing and issues surrounding this atmosphere is affecting businesses in Lusaka and how some businesses have actually adopted to try and suit to the environment of what is going on in our country. We also talk to brands and influencers on how this crisis can actually be influenced by them and what they can do as social corporate responsibility. And we also get into the issue of authoring via books. How can you sell like a prostitute? And can you hustle like a West African? We get to hear more from the author of these books, Edwin Ngwane, as he tells us more about marketing 101 in an environment like Zambia is in right now. And fake Coca-Cola manufacturers nabbed here in Matero, Zambia. These and more items on the program. This is Business Day and my name is judyngulube. We start off with the issue of gassing and how individuals as well as groups are going around either schools, homes, capturing individuals, gassing them and doing whatever they want to them afterwards. But this atmosphere, this environment has created fear in many individuals, and MTN was also one of those corporates that were gassed, and their operations have sort of been shaken. What are other entities, what are other corporates doing to make sure that they are awake and alive to security consciousness in regards to the issue of gassing? We start off with a report on how some businesses, such as taxis, entities that operate in the evening, in the night, night sports, hangout sports in Lusaka have been affected.
A few days ago, cars would drive through the gates of the Lusaka Civic Center without a moment's scrutiny from security officers. Not anymore. Reports of gassing incidents in some parts of the city have lifted the bar on security. Every car and individual on this particular day have to convince the guards that their visit is genuine. At one point, the security personnel goes a step further, leaving nothing to chance. The local authority is not the only institution exercising more security awareness these days. The same is happening in schools.
Yeah, at our school they have roped up we have a lot of security there.
ZESCO headquarters, though usually highly secure, has also increased security awareness, as spokesperson Henry Kapata explains.
This is one institution that belongs to the people. But if there are those that have ill intents to come to ZESCO Limited and bring issues other than the business, I'm afraid they will have to dance to the tunes of the law. Systems are in place, but that is not to guarantee that we have done everything adequately. What is important is that the ones that are coming obviously will be screened, and internal security officers obviously are aware that we have certain things that are going on wrong.
Residents of Lusaka are also alert.
We keep awake at awkward hours. We want to keep our families safe.
We need to pray passionately against this because our normal way of doing things has been disturbed.
And they should stop these people making their own security. Say no, we are security. Security for what? You make a group of 10, 15, you move at night, you find somebody who is even innocent. He's coming maybe from job, has been dropped somewhere, then you attack. No, he's one of them.
Police have continued investigations into the reported gassing incidents across the country. Penlop Sikazwe.
Thank you so much for watching Business Day. Another report that is talking about something similar is how the Lusaka City Council's operations of going door to door to collect rates have been affected. They are having a huge challenge getting to their tenants, getting to the individuals that are supposed to be paying these rates, as people are not opening doors to the LCC. Listen to this report.
It is not business as usual for those in trade, but as well public service delivery. I'm also told there is also a disruption of door-to-door service delivery by the local authority. Council Public Relations Manager George Sichimba says the local authority is unable to effectively effect the property valuation exercise. This is because the insecurity situation has given rise to public inertia with respect to cooperation.
what is happening is that some people have decided to post those notices on social media with a comment that those are fake notices. They are not coming from Lusaka City Council. With that allegation that people are not from Lusaka City Council, we have been forced to suspend the exercise for 1 week.
And the business sector has not been spared as well. Taxi drivers are concerned.
Like taxi drivers, they are working during night. Now, as they want to pass, maybe they will find the roadblock to civilians, not police officers, but civilians. And then they'll stop the car and start searching. After searching, some of them, they're just stealing money, phones.
Whoever that they find, or even if you are entering your own yard, they will think you are trying to gas someone, so they will get you and they will beat you up.
The situation is being made worse by the gangs that are going around the compounds, pretending to be helping the police to secure the places. They are now attacking innocent people.
We are now scared of one another. Customers are afraid to use our vehicles.
Meanwhile, pupils at Arthur Winner Primary School in Lusaka have resumed classes after the school was gassed early this week. Security has also been beefed up at most schools in the city to avoid another incident. Fortune Malata, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
You are watching Business Day. We get into issues of marketing. Marketing is one of those that look like it's very simple, but then when you get to the ground of things, or you are trying to sell a brand, push a brand, how easy is it really, or how challenging is it? I'm glad that I have Edwin Ngwane, who is a banker by profession, but an author by design, who's written 2 interesting books with very catchy titles. One talking about how to sell and market like a prostitute, as well as hustle like a West African. Let's just get to talk to him to understand what exactly this marketing 101 in these books is bringing to the table, especially in Zambia's current environment when it comes to entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for coming through. How are you?
I'm very well, and I'm excited to be here, and it's a pleasure to be hosted at ZNBC.
Okay, so firstly, I'll start with this one. When you get a title like this, what are some of the reactions from your readers?
Actually, most people, including my wife, would say this title. She wasn't comfortable with the title, but the essence of that title is, if they can sell a bad product, if they can sell an immoral product, how would we fail to sell great products? Because selling sex is not easy, and it's not something that is acceptable around the world. Mm-hmm. However, it is it's a product that is selling all the time. And the question we should ask ourselves is, if they can do it, why do we fail to sell great products?
Very true. So in this book, issues that are coming out in regards to how can a person love the contents and not the brand? How do you translate that, especially into everyday life with entrepreneurship, with SMEs?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. The first thing that has to happen in marketing, before people even come to the level of getting your products, they have to like your products from afar. Meaning you have to do awareness, you have to do marketing, that's what happens with...
People say that's very expensive. And when you look at startups, how do they do that?
You can actually, right now we live in a world of social media. You can actually put your brand out there using social media, meaning you can do it with zero cash. You can start off like that. However, because you need to also have a product. If you push your product first free, word of mouth, you're talking to people, you're making a few connections here and there. As you are starting off, you are going to find that there are people who are going to be interested in your product, and you are going to start making a little bit of some money. You need to start investing a little bit of it in marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, ZNBC ads, wherever you can afford. Even if people say it's expensive, it's actually expensive not to market. Let me refer to prostitutes. Before they even go to the street, they put on some nice clothes. They have to look nice. You know what I mean? Nice shoes, expensive, which they won't wear the next day. So you can see that there is a marketing behind that, right? And in my book, I talk about going out there. If you are not going to go out there, being known out there, it's over for you. There's no business for you because you have to be known. So the first thing is you have to be shameless and go out there.
People talk about it in regards to when you talk about digital marketing versus traditional marketing, I would call it. What is the difference there?
With traditional marketing, of course, it's these platforms that have been there for some time. Newspapers, talk of radio, talk of billboards. These have always been there. Now we have social. We have internet, like Google ads. You can do Instagram ads. So you have to strike a balance, by the way. I know a lot of people...
Because I was about to say, which one is more effective?
Yes, I'll tell you, a lot of people are saying, let's all do social media. I'll tell you that I believe in balance. If you're not going to balance, you miss out on certain customers that are not always social, that are not always online. What about those customers that actually are very visual? They look at I've bought a lot of products because I saw them on a billboard. So billboard ads still work. Radio ads still work. I'll tell you that there are so many other products that I've heard on the radio and say, what product is that? I need to get it. So you need to, for me, I believe in diversification in terms of marketing as well as pushing your products out there. Don't depend on one channel. What if it stops working? What do? So you need to put your products all out. Just like they do. Some do it on the streets, some do it in the nightclubs, some just stay home and make calls.
They have the principles.
Yes.
When you look at Zambia's going through austerity measures and issues of marketing for small, medium entrepreneurs, how does that work? How effective can you be?
I'll tell you, that's where now hustling like a West African comes in.
How does a West African hustle? Because someone would say, I have to suit to my environment, Mr. Ngwane.
Yes, you have to suit your environment, but one thing you need to understand and appreciate about West Africans is that they are proud of who they are. You have to be immensely proud of your identity. We are Zambians. Who are we? How many people know that we are Zambians? How many people know our products, our cultures? Look at there's Nchwala ceremony. I'm going, the Nchwala ceremony is coming. Are we marketing the Nchwala ceremony out there so that people can come actually and invest in this Nchwala ceremony? Can it be respected? Can we put some branding to it? Can we put some level of marketing that is going to put it to the world there and say, in Zambia right now, BBC covers it, CNN covers it, everyone is covering it, there's Nchwala ceremony happening. Are we doing that?
So why did you specifically refer to the West African?
The West African...
You've mentioned, of course, being proud of their identity.
Yes. When I looked at the statistics which I've put behind the book, is that one of the things you notice is that West Africans are dominating in business, in sports, they're dominating in music, as well as in arts, like movies. We even have Nollywood in West Africa. It has been, for some time now, they're dominating everything. And I ask myself, when am I going to see Slab D dominating? When am I going to see Chef 187? When am I going to see Zuba being televised across Africa? When do I get to see that? I looked at that and said, I think we need to learn what they do. And what they do is that they look for opportunities everywhere, and they are not apologetic about it. They'll go out there, they are proud of who they are, and they push their own agenda. We have our own agenda. We want to develop the country. We want to develop ourselves as entrepreneurs. We have to be unapologetic about it. Go out there, market yourself, market your products, market your brand, and make sure that you make some money out of it, because I believe also you need to be obsessed about money as you carry on your business.
Okay. So when you look at marketing as a whole on various scales in our country, where is the loophole? On a general basis, because obviously there are those small nitty-gritties, but what is the biggest loophole?
Like I mentioned, I'll tell you that right now, I feel we are not pushing ourselves out there. Like, Zambian businesses are struggling. We want to get the market from our own brothers and sisters and buy, right? But can we actually sell our products out there? Because if we are failing to sell to Zambia, that doesn't mean we cannot sell our products to Malawians, Zimbabweans, Americans. We can sell. We have these platforms. We have eBay, we have Amazon. I sell some of my books on Amazon. Americans buy them. British people buy them. People from Europe buy them. This is getting income from Europe to Africa.
People talk about issues of quality and standards. There are these authorities that we have checking standards and what your packaging should look like either way as you get to the international market. And when you talk about the manufacturing industry in our country or printing, all those issues in our country, there's those challenges.
I will tell you, I don't print. Right now, I will tell you that I don't
So
print
the quality
my
you're
books.
taking out there.
Yes, I don't print my books. Currently, I'm not printing my books in Zambia. I printed them from India because of that. I wanted a little bit of quality because I'm selling my books internationally. I'm not just selling them in Zambia because we need to bring in some funds from other countries. We don't just have to be limited to Zambia. We have to go out there. And I'll tell you, yes, one of the things that we are not doing as a country and as a people is to perfect ourselves in the process, to put some work ethic to what we do, because we believe, as long as I tell gospel musicians all the time, don't sell to me your CDs or your music because you have mentioned the name of God. I want you to go in the studio, do what every musician does, and touch me, touch my heart. I want to feel that you have sung a good song. And that's what I feel we need to do as a country. Work hard, put quality to what we do, and deliver results when we promise. Deliver results. The moment customers are happy with what we do, they will consistently, because business is about also a referral system.
Customer.
Yeah, returning customer. And nobody wants to go to a business that failed them. So we want our customers to talk about us all the time, as well as to tell their friends to go to come to our businesses and buy our products.
Okay, so as we wind up, if there's an SME watching out there, Mr. Ngwane, and they're thinking the takeaway point out of the whole discussion, maybe someone caught us just towards the end. What is the takeaway point from the discussion?
For me, I would tell any entrepreneur out there, you need to learn marketing if you want to do well. If you're not going to market your business, it's dead. No doubt about it. A business without marketing and selling, it's dead. And most importantly, you have to hustle. Hustle is hard work. Hustle is looking for opportunities where everybody's saying there's a problem, there's a problem. We have problems in this country, so many problems, but I look at problems as opportunities. When you solve that problem, you can monetize that problem and make some money for yourself.
Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate also hosting me. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well.
Okay.
Hustle Like a West African and How to Market and Sell Like a Prostitute is the two books that we've been concentrating on. Of course, talking about marketing as a whole with Edwin Ngwane this evening on Business Day. You're still watching Business Day. Join me on the other side as we get into issues of a story where manufacturers of fake Coca-Cola have been uncovered. Thank you so much for still watching Business Day. At the beginning of the program, we did get a report on issues of gassing and how they are affecting businesses. We now talk to Alfred Chirwa as he adds his voice to this one, getting to understand how exactly businesses have been affected and how, as brands, you can do some social corporate responsibility in times like this for Zambia. Thank you so much for coming through. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Judy. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you. So when you look at this issue of gassing, this issue of ritual killers, there's so much tension when it comes to a person who's thinking of going to get something after 6 p.m. Someone who wants to go and watch a soccer match when there's no power at his home and you want to go to a pub nearby that has got a huge screen. Your car is not working and you want to use a cab getting home and you want to start scrutinizing the cab driver to say, what is this? How has this inevitably affected businesses?
I think business, of course, when there's a scare or there's any act that terrifies people, I'm avoiding the word terrorism, that terrifies people will be affected. Of course, there's issues of working hours now. I mean, even just staff have to be released early to go home, from work. People work after 5, after 6 when it gets a bit dark. Obviously apprehensive to stay in the office. And so obviously that starts affecting productivity or just concentration. It affects customer service. Obviously that impacts on your brand as well, because I'll be trying to check out at a till in a shop, for instance, and somebody's not attending to me as I think they ought to, as a customer. But then, so this whole acts that have been happening in the last few days or last few weeks have had an impact on businesses. Same as you talk about pubs. Obviously patronage has gone down because you don't want to be out too late. You know, sometimes it's not even late. We hear things have been happening around 7 p.m. So that has adversely affected how business is operating. Obviously, if that is happening, it's issue of productivity. Productivity is low, then profits are affected. So it trickles down even to the minutest of things that have to do with the business environment. Yeah.
How then do businesses actually adjust to this one now?
There is need for adjustment. I mean, you look at countries that have experienced things obviously of a bigger magnitude. You know, it's issues of how do we then adjust ourselves? Should we open certain hours and make sure that our people are safe? Because also you have to look after your staff, right? They're the ones that manage your business. If it's for a store or for a pub, as you said. I was even saying even churches, for instance, now have to be careful with how they are conducting their overnight prayer meetings. So
even
this
the early masses.
you know what I mean? Yeah, the early masses now have to be taken into consideration. What time does mass start? Can mass start at 5 or 6? You know, so there's a lot of adjustments that have to be done. But also, I mean, you talk about issues to do with branding. Then how do I, as an entity, also how does that affect my brand? I was saying, just as I was coming here to a friend, I said, there are insurance companies that could actually now take on corporate social responsibility in that sense and start sensitizing people that, look, if you see a mob, don't drive through a mob, turn around, because certain covers don't, like insurance cover does not cover riotous acts.
Yes, there's nowhere.
Absolutely. So there's just need for companies to take a step and also partner with, say, law enforcement agencies. You know what I mean? There's companies that have got vehicles. You can say, okay, we've given out our cars. So that way you start identifying yourselves with what's happening in the community, real-time activity. Sometimes we've gone out and branded stuff that were probably planned 2 months ago, and they're not relevant now because there's been a shift in the marketplace. So there's need for companies now to adjust themselves to what is happening now and be relevant to the markets that they serve. So even branding comes into play in that sense.
Okay, all right. Now, when you look at on the flip side, now the clients, the customers, issues of assurance and issues of how this is just a phase, how do they look at it in that manner?
I think I was saying, I mean, this is multifaceted. You've got people that have to obviously assure us that this will pass, and nothing is permanent, to be honest, But also, I was saying there's NGOs or non-governmental organizations, as we call them, or non-profits, that could actually take it upon themselves to start sensitizing people on how to take care of themselves, how to move in groups, so that if you're a lone person, safety is important. Even when people are doing vending on the streets, I mean, you're talking about something earlier before I walked on to talk about this, where somebody's just walking and selling something illegal, as it were, they get lynched, and they might find themselves in a fatal situation. So there's just need for people to come on board right now and just help the situation probably ease out and also offer security options. Security may not necessarily be a bodyguard, but saying, look, if you're going to move, in groups. If company bus has to be branded, or we're providing transport from this point to that point so that people feel they're safe. Like I said, I mean, we're talking about insurance companies. I don't know why they've not jumped on board. Companies that...
and I'm actually about to ask you to say, the brand, that we have brands that specifically talk to you in terms of, safety, peace. Do you think those brands that communicate that to the markets, to the clientele in Zambia are doing enough in this situation?
I think this situation has been quite interesting because we have not seen people, as in the corporate world, come on board and seem to do something about it. Everyone is just probably living in fear and wondering what to do. So when you do corporate innovations, these are things we talk about. Then what can I do as an entity in terms of providing just information? You know what I mean? Or Zambia Police information powered by, ACI or, Zambia Army, aided by what, you know what I mean? So it's innovations that people lack. So I know when you call me here, we talk branding, and these are some of the innovative ways in which branding can be done, because you must be relevant to the communities that you serve. You must be relevant to the people that you serve. I mean, we're talking about small orphanages, that probably need covering, because these things seem to be affecting everybody. So this place that needs security, how come a security company is not offered, look, because of this thing, we're going to provide security? And you're branding yourselves as a corporately, socially responsible entity that is dealing with a situation that is current and is meaningful to the people at the moment. You know what I mean? So there's ways of being innovative and using your brands to identify issues that are happening in the moment and then also gain mileage on that. I know it's a sad situation, but you can actually be seen as corporately, socially responsible.
They say that capitalism never does anything for free, does it? Even
it's
CSPR is not for free. Is that true?
It's not for free. Look, it's a win-win situation. I mean, when we're doing consultancy for entities and we tell them being socially responsible is because you're applying back the communities where you draw your profits from. But again, there's just the case of Ubuntu. You know what I mean? We may not make money from an orphanage, for instance, but an orphanage operates in a place where we are getting money from people that surround it, in the communities. So it's beyond that. Look, we can brand ourselves as people who go and help out a hospital. We may not even have a branch there, but then this has to relate with the people that aid our business to go forward, and also just being humane. So branding comes in different ways. You have to be innovative if you're going to run your brand and have a brand that identifies with the day-to-day activities of how people live their lives. You've got to be clever. Very
true. Alfred Chirwa, thank you so much for coming through.
Always a pleasure, Judy. Always a pleasure.
All right. That has been our program for today. I hope you did get one or two things from that one. Definitely you did. I'm very confident that you did. Join us next week, Thursday, 18:30 for more information on business, entrepreneurship, the corporate world, as well as Zambia's economy. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Judyngulube.